Question 35. The mapping diagram represents the function y equals 2x squared. Complete the mapping diagram. We have input x, output as y. So this is our output and this is the input. The first one has been done when x is 1, y is 2. So if you have 1 here, your result will be 2. The next question says when x is 0.25, what's y? This question is not just a mapping question. It's also a question that tests you on working with decimals or converting decimals to fraction, then solving. So we have 0.25 as x. And the function is y equals 2x squared. We can plug in 0.25 here as x and multiply it by itself, then multiply it by 2 to get the value for y. Or you can convert this to fraction first, then plug it into the function equation and find the value for y. So we have 0.25, we want to convert it to fraction. The decimal is in front of 2 and we need to take it to the back of 5. So we'll move it 1, it comes in between 2 and 5, and 2. Since we move twice to get it to the back of 5 to make it 25, we would have it as 25 over 100. If you move 3 times, it will be 25 over 1000. That means the number of zeros will increase. We can bring this down to the simplest form. We have 25 over 100, you can just say 25 in 25, 1, 25 in 100, 4. And if you're not very good with that, you can say 5 in 25, 5, 5 in 100, that's 20. 5 in 5, 1, 5 in 20, 4. So 0.25 in fraction is also 1 over 4. So we have x as 1 over 4. With x as 1 over 4, we can plug it into the function equation, which says y equals 2x squared. We have y equals 2 times the value of your x is 1 over 4. You square it. That's 1 over 4 squared. You have to work with the square first before you work on these two. That's board math or that's speed math, depending on how you're taught. We have y equals 2 times 1 over 4 squared is 1 over 4 times 1 over 4. You can multiply this first or simply say 2 into 1, 2 in 4, 2. So we have y as 1 times 1 times 1 will give you 1 over 2 times 4, that's 8. So if x is 0.25, y is 1 over 8. You can leave your answer as a fraction or you can convert it to decimal if you want. So here we have 1 over 8. 1 over 8. To find the other boxes, we have our x's as unknown, both pointing to the same value for y. That's saying when y is 32, what are the values for the x's? The function equation says y equals 2x squared. And the value of y is 32. So we change this y to 32 and find x. So we have 32 equals 2x squared. When it comes to finding this x, it means trying to make x stand on its own. That means these 2 and this square will have to leave. In cases like this, when you are finding an unknown or you are trying to make a value the subject of a formula or the subject of a relation, as the case might be, you do what we could call the inverse of board math. You might be wondering, would I remove the square first or these 2 first? In board math, power comes before multiplication, and this 2 is linked to this x squared by multiplication. So you get the multiplication off first before you consider the power. That's like the inverse, the opposite. You are doing the reverse. So to get the 2 off, you divide both sides by 2. So this divided by 2, this divided by 2. 2 cancels 2. 2 in 32, or 32 divided by 2 is 16. So you have 16 equals x squared. You might want to have your unknown on the left and have this value on the right. In this case, since you're switching both, you can have it as x squared equals 16. To get this square of this x, because you're looking for x, you introduce square root to both sides. The inverse of square is square root. That's why you introduce square root. If this x were to be to the power of 3, or you say cubed, you introduce cube root to both sides. But in this case, the x is squared, so you introduce square root to both sides. So you have the square root of this and the square root of this. The square root cancels the square. You'll be left with x equals square root of 16. You might jump on it and say square root of 16 is 4, but it's not just 4. It's plus or minus 4. The square root of a value is not just the positive result. And why is it plus or minus 4? Because you might be wondering, 4 times 4 would give you 16. That's positive 16. So since it's square root, you pick one of the 4s as the square root of 16. But also note, 16 or positive 16 can be gotten by multiplying negative 4 times negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 will give you positive 16. The negative times the negative will give you positive. Then 4 times 4 will give you 16. So if you take the square root of 16 as negative 4 times negative 4, to remove the square root, you pick one of the negative 4s. So that's why square root of 16 can also be negative 4. So you have the result of square root of 16 as plus or minus 4. So x is either, you can start with the smaller value, negative 4, or you can say and positive 4. So we have minus 4 and plus 4. Hope you understand.